I've talked about height a lot on this channel before. Whether it's not to doubt the smaller guys, like the numerous times I've covered Logan Stankoven, or even in my more recent video about Tommy Lafreniere. Then we've gone off the deep end even and talked about how technically Manute Bol is the tallest player to ever lace up the skates. Granted, Bol only sat on the bench for a charity game, he was on the score sheet, but by no means did he actually play. There were actually two players that reached 7 feet tall over in low divisions of Sweden and Finland that played in the 2010s, but they didn't amount to anything. However, over the last couple months, conversation has been brewing over someone new. Something the sport of hockey rarely sees at all at this level. It's practically unheard of. Meet Alexander Karmanov, a 2008-born defenseman out of Chisinau, Moldova. Over the last year, he's played U16 hockey in Russia and U18 in Belarus. For a young defender, these stats are respectable, but what Karmanov offers on the score sheet isn't what attracts the eyes of scouts. It's his unheard of size. So what, like 6'9", 6'10" even? How about 7 feet tall? I'll start with saying this, because I just find it crazy. Karmanov is not only the tallest youth hockey player in the world, he's the tallest active player on the entire planet. Maybe there's some 7'1" mutant playing house or something somewhere, but I highly doubt it. The discourse surrounding Karmanov really picked up steam in August of this year, after his surprising commitment to Penn State in the NCAA, and it didn't take a lot of time for people to quickly clue into his absurd size and scour the internet for any video of him playing. And it wouldn't be long until we found some footage of him playing in Russia. My personal favorite is this one where they used him on the power play and they just planted him in front of the net, leading him to banging one home. Like, personally, I don't know why more teams do this. As a goalie, that would just get under my skin so damn fast. That doesn't even include the big guy bashing at home. However, after his commitment to Penn State, Karmanov would make his move to North America, where he would find himself a new home in Wilkes-Barre and Scranton with the Knights U16 AAA team in the Atlantic Youth Hockey League. Fun fact, this program has been a bit of a hotbed for Russian talent wanting to pursue a hockey career in the NCAA or Major Junior, as current NHL blue liner Ivan Provorov and former Avalanche pick Denis Smirnov spent some time with the Knights before making their next jump. Now, as it stands at the moment of writing this script and editing this video, Karmanov has played 2 games with the Knights and has racked up 2 goals and 2 assists. Not a shabby start by any means, especially since in his first game, Karmanov wouldn't see too much ice time, after getting into penalty trouble in the first, where, I mean, just look at this. I was just as shocked to see this. Fair to say you may not want to piss this kid off. Before getting ejected though, Karmanov would rack up 1 assist in the contest. Following this match, Karmanov would have to sit out 1 game due to suspension, but would find himself back in the lineup on September 15th, where he would rack up those 2 goals I previously mentioned. And they came in during a clutch scenario too, after being down 3-1 at one point in the game. Karmanov would score the game-tying goal late in the second period and the eventual game-winning goal early in the third. He would also go on to tally an assist on the insurance marker. Seeing those stats pop up initially got me really desperate to see how he performed visually in this matchup, so I whipped out the credit card, subscribed to LiveBarn, found the game, and gave it a watch. And if you didn't already know, I work for the CSSHL, which is the top minor hockey league in Western Canada, and I go through every game to scrape up as much video content as I can. So I'm not going to complain about the camera work, I've dealt with much worse. I also love how easy it is to find this kid. I mean, he sticks out like a sore thumb, for crying out loud. I shouldn't even have to point him out to you guys, but just in case, he's wearing number 89 right there. I also want to make this clear though, don't go into watching this footage and think you're gonna see some 7-foot kid clean up these other kids with speed, edge work, stick handling, because that's simply not the player Karmanov is as of right now. Karmanov is so raw. That's really the only way I can describe it. He moves pretty well for a defender of his stature, but that's probably because there really isn't anything to go off of. You can't compare him with anything. But if you want the best resemblance you could probably find, you should go look at Zdeno Chara when he suited up for the Prince George Cougars back in 1996. From all my accounts from people who watched Chara live in PG during this time, I've heard nothing other than the fact that his skating was just brutal, he had a really tough time controlling his frame, and that he really was just a prop to put butts in seats at the CN Center, because this guy would never back down to a scrap. He was a fan favorite and still is to this day. So am I shocked to see Karmanov struggle to move around, make quick decisions at the blue line, and really only opt for shots? Not really. In fact, his skating doesn't even disappoint me considering the situation he is in. Honestly, I feel he has pretty good technique for a guy of his stature, and when he continues to practice and further refine these skills, he may come out as a decent skater in the end. Same goes for his decision making. You're on a brand new team. You moved across the planet to play here. It'll take time for Karmanov to settle into his role with the Knights. And I mean, what else are you gonna do when every time you touch the puck in the offensive zone, your entire team is getting up on their feet and screaming at you to shoot? The kid is excited to be here and show his worth right away, and I think with time, he'll develop more patience and a better sense for the game. I'll also give props to his coaches Matthew Reed and Alex Vasco. When I was watching this game, Karmanov was playing a ton. They are giving him the time to operate and grow in each and every facet, getting valuable minutes not only at even strength, but on the power play and PK as well. However, one thing I'd like to see him whip out over the course of the season is a one-timer or a slap shot. When he gets his wrister off, it's a pretty good looking shot that makes its way through traffic. I can't imagine how hard this kid could actually blast the puck if he had the time and space to do so, because no kid at this level would dare step in front of that. In the end, Karmanov is not a sure thing. It's going to take a lot of effort and dedication from his end if he wants to make that next step. Considering the fact that he's an 08 and a 16-year-old defenseman, looking at other players that are in the same scenario, like Daxon Rudolph, Keaton Verhoff, Zach Neiman, all of these guys are leagues ahead of Karmanov at the moment. Receiving that scholarship from Penn State doesn't reserve him a spot on that roster if he can't deliver. But then granted, Penn State wouldn't offer that scholarship if they didn't think he couldn't take that next step. Like I said earlier, no one thought Chara was going to be a long-term NHLer when he was in his teens. And after a decade of polishing his craft and proving he is much more than just a circus act, just look at what he accomplished. That doesn't mean Karmanov is a future Norris winner or a $10 million defenseman. He's going to take a lot of time to take that next stride. And I personally believe he's got it in him. Plus, I don't think there's anyone out there rooting against this kid. I think everyone wants to see a 7-footer make the NHL one day. And that's something that's going to give Karmanov an advantage moving forward. Thanks for watching.